42 points last week on Roseville. On the offensive side of the ball, when DHS has the football, what can we expect?
Well, we got Greg Gabe back. He's our #1 back, and you're going to see him carry the ball a lot. We think he's an outstanding running back, and our offensive line is just, they got to keep a body on people. They got to go after the linebackers, and we got to maintain our double teams. And James Stallings has got to have a game. It's all about putting it on the quarterback's shoulders. And Marcus Lancaster, you can look for him to get the ball a few times tonight.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck. Stay tuned. The Cougars and the Titans are up next.
Patrick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Dakota Football here on Chippewa Valley Cable. I'm Kevin Koskis along with John Brenningstool, and we are proud to present tonight's game between the Dakota Cougars and the Stevenson High School Titans. Should be a good one, John. We heard from Coach Giannone in the opening. Big game early on in the season, regardless of where it falls on the schedule. This is an important contest for both teams that know each other very well. Met twice last year, with the Titans taking both outings. Your thoughts on this evening's ball game as we get ready to kick it off here?
I have many thoughts we'll share tonight, but I like how you said met twice last year. But everybody that's been associated with both these high schools know that the last time they met was in the semifinals of the state tournament, and Stevenson able to advance on and play in the finals. And I think when the roster broke out this past winter, both Coach Giannone and Coach Bai looked and said, wow, we got to play week 2. And you know both coaches have prepared all through two-a-days, kind of working through their first game opponents to get ready for tonight. So one of the things I think our viewers are going to see tonight is a lot of wrinkles, both offensively and defensively, because of all the extra time that each team has had to prepare for tonight's contest.
Well, there are two teams that, as MAC Red rivals, play each other each and every season and have provided some very, very exciting football over the past several years. Now we're getting ready now for the Star Spangled Banner and the conclusion of this evening's pregame show for the Marching Cougars. Big crowd on hand, a little bit of a late arriving crowd on an absolutely beautiful night for football with the temperature in the mid-70s. Partly cloudy, wind out of the southwest. Maybe a little bit of a factor early on. We expect it to die down throughout tonight's ball game. And now, take a listen to the Marching Cougars under the direction of Randy Castile for the Star Spangled Banner.
Kevin, you're right. You alluded to it, that both these teams are not only rivals in the MAC Red, but they really have emerged as of late as two powerhouses to be reckoned with and have a lot to say about determining the MAC Red championship. And both coaches are very, very seasoned coaches and know how to develop their programs and develop their teams. And sometimes you get into a game like this early in the season, and one of the hardest things you have to control is the emotion level of your players. But I got to believe that both Coach Giannone and Coach By in the back of their minds recognize that both these teams are more likely to play each other one more time this year, and the entire season isn't going to hinge on tonight's performance, but it sure is going to serve as a proverbial shot across the bow to the other one as to where they stand and what they plan to accomplish.
Well, it'll certainly give each squad a better sense as to where they stand heading into the MAC Red season, with the Titans 42-13 winners over L'Anse Creuse North in their opener, and Dakota taking out Roseville 42-7. And that game against L'Anse Creuse North, one of the score is alarming enough, 42-0 actually at halftime. But the way the Stevenson defense corralled Ryan Lindsay was remarkable. 0 for 4 in the first half with an interception and 6 rushes for 12 yards. A young man who's an outstanding athlete on his way to Purdue University. And, defense, you look at Stevenson and you look at the number of points they put up, and you look at the Stiefels and the Deletkas and the Robertsons and so on, but they play some pretty stout defense as well.
Yeah, they do, and I got to believe that Coach Morris, Coach Giannone, and Coach Drosky have spent a lot of time poring over film this week to try and figure out what was the key. Was it pass rush? Was it outstanding secondary coverage? I mean, the early talk in Stevenson is they're very athletic in the secondary. Was it just the athleticism was too much of a match for the L'Anse Creuse North receivers? We'll find out early. There will be some probing going on early in this game by both coaches with their respective offenses to find out what they can do and what they can't do.
And John, you mentioned a couple names there in your comments with regards to Stevenson's defense and the tape study that the Dakota staff has done throughout not just the past week since the Roseville game, but the past several weeks in preparation for this one. And there are some changes down on the sidelines with Brad Morris, defensive coordinator, now moving to offense, and working with Coach Giannone to call the offensive plays, and Greg Bauer now assuming the reins of calling the defense with the assistance of Paul Tocco and Matt Carley and Ken Thole. So I talked to in talking to Jeff Vitale, broadcaster for Chippewa Valley games. So we were talking about this week's game, and his comment was, well, if anyone knows Stevenson, it's Coach Bauer. That he watches more film and knows more about any opponent than you could ever imagine. So it's an interesting game as we get ready to kick it off here. Two teams that put up a lot of points in that first outing, but we know are also very good defensively. Who's going to win out? Offense, defense? I have a feeling it's going to be a wash, and that third element, you know how critical that can be, everyone out there in TV land. Special teams. That could be the difference in this ball game. So promises to be an exciting one, and we're just about ready to kick it off. Stiefel will kick it off. The Cougars will have the first crack at it. They will move left to right into the wind. Marcus Lancaster and David Tuck back deep. Here's Stiefel's kick. A high, deep knuckler that Lancaster bobbles at the 1, corrals it out over the 5, 10, 15, 20, spins out to the 25, and that's where the Cougars will set up shop. So not the 90-yard return for a touchdown that David Tuck was able to produce last week against Roseville, but a good return from Marcus, 24 yards out to the 25-yard line.
And you mentioned that, and one of the things that triggered that return was a little bit of a bobble by David Tuck last week.
There you see the starting lineups. Across the offensive line, Steepbeck, Opeth, Harbor, Buzdrai, Wallace. Knapp is the tight end. He had a good game last week. Schuholtz and Lancaster, the wideouts. Trotter, the fullback. Gay at halfback. And James Stallings calling the signals as starting quarterback for the Cougars. Send Trotter in motion. Give to Gay. He's out over the 30. Cuts it out over the 35. First down to the 37. 12-yard pickup.
Well, Greg Gaggs getting his first action of the season. He didn't play last week against Roseville, and a little bit of a dinged-up ankle from the preseason camp, and looked pretty good on that first carry there.
Well, he is running behind one big offensive line. Here's the defensive lineup for the Titans. Schoen, Keljevic, LaRock, Battaglia across the front. Bloom, Kutskill, Hennig are the linebackers. Walmer and Persicino are the corners, and Kohut and Kocher are the safeties. Play action fake. They're going to sweep it around the end to Tuck. He is hemmed in there and will lose big yardage back to about the 33. hemmed in by Stevenson's number 85, Mike Bloom.
Ryan Schoen, the defensive end, did an excellent job for Stevenson by coming upfield and reading his keys. You know, a play like that, the misdirection like that, one of the things that really sets it up is that offside run or that run away, and you get that defensive end trying to chase a play down from behind, and then you can catch him with a little boot action.
2nd down and 14 now from just outside the 33-yard line, just underway, first quarter. Long count from Stallings. Handoff Gay up the middle. He's got a seam out near the 45 to the 44. Gain of 10 on the play, and he'll set up 3rd down and 4.
Greg's doing a real good job of not waiting a long time for that crease to open, and he's showing some real quickness attacking the line of scrimmage and then making his moves once he's at what they call the linebacker level or linebacker depth.
So 3rd down and nearly 4, about 3.5 here for the Cougars, their first 3rd down situation of the ball game.
James was really, really solid in these situations last week, just trying to get the first down and move the sticks.
Send Trotter in short motion across the backfield, hand it to Gay, and he is hemmed in and goes down for a 1-yard loss at the hands of Tim Hennig, senior linebacker.
That's one of those things where I think the Stevenson coaching staff defensively outguessed the offensive staff of Dakota with a little loop stunt. The linebacker gets scrapes free, and he's sitting in the hole.
Derek Knapp will handle the punting duties. He stands at his 28, kicking into the breeze. Going into him and across from the right. The punt is blocked. Bounds forward. The Cougars pounce on it at their own 49. Jarvie covered it up. Josh Jarvie covered it up, but excellent field position here for the Titans. Kick took a little bit of time there to get away.
It was a good scheme by Stevenson. It's like a delayed blitz. You know, they wait till the front identifies the man that they have for their man protection, and then a guy comes from that level 2, the secondary almost, a little bit delayed, and it opens up when your man blocking. There's a seam, a natural seam that'll open up, and he just comes through.
There you see the Stevenson starting lineup as they are underway. Option toss to Robertson. He's got the right corner. Got the right edge to the 40, a 9-yard pickup, tackle by Jarvie, but good yardage there for Robertson on first down. Now they're going to mark him down after a gain of 7. Dove forward there once on the ground, got a little closer to the sticks, but 2nd down and 3. Here's a Cougar defense. Stepik, Georgian, Pushchek, and Smith across the front. Pushchek, Benyu, and Jarvie, the linebacking core. Militello and Corey are the corners, and Schultz, John Schultz, Deontay Smith at the safeties. Venetili in motion. Reset, Stiefel, turns, hands to Robertson. Robertson spins, dives close to the chains inside the 40.
Josh Jarvie did a real nice job there with the spread set that Stevenson's showing. It's easy to get misaligned in your front 7, and he did what you want to see a senior linebacker do, and he reached up and literally grabbed the defensive tackle, moved him out another gap and a half. And so we got to be balanced up here, or we're going to have too many good blocking angles against us.
3rd down and short for the Titans on their opening possession of the ball game. High formation. And goes to Robertson. He bounces it outside. Schultz tracks him down, but not after a gain, until after a gain of at least 2 and a first down. Flag on the play, though. And it's going to be a face mask. Incidental face mask will add 5 to that 3-yard run.
Well, you're going to imagine you're going to see a heavy-duty dose of L.J. Robinson early in this game. He's considered one of the best running backs in the state, certainly a top recruit, and he sets up stifle. When the running game is going, it makes it a lot easier for the quarterback to play action and throw the ball down the field.
First and 10 here for the Titans from the 31. 3 wide receiver set. Stiefel hands to Venetili. struggles forward, gains nearly 2. Bring up 2nd down and long. Stepek in on the hit. 2nd down and 8. Titans on the march. Started in good field position after blocking a Cougar punt. Started on the Dakota half of the field at the 49, and then now inside the 30. An offset I, 3 wide. Deletka and Vinatelli to the near side. Stiefel will throw for the first time. And he connects with Matt Deletka, who breaks Schultz's tackle at the 20, gets inside the 15, down to about the 13, and that was a connection last week that put up big, big numbers. Deletka scored on a 67-yard pass. He had 3 receptions for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was a big pickup there. Give him 16 as we see it on the replay.
You take a look at that replay, the action that set it up was the handoff fake going to the right to Robertson. And with the way he's been able to run the football effectively, now that boot action is going to open up. Linebackers have to honor that run fake.
Stiefel, there's Robertson. There's one thing about L.J. Robertson. You may hit him, you may get him with an arm there right at the line of scrimmage or even behind the line of scrimmage, but ultimately, on it seems almost every one of his runs, he is going to fall forward and gain yardage, and he turns what looked like a play that was going to be stuffed for no gain into almost a 3-yard pickup.
He's a big back. You've got to bring your legs when you tackle him, and that's the mistake that you see commonly in most high school games this time of year, especially being only the 2nd game of the year and just not into that good tackling form yet.
Stiefel throws, picked off by Schultz at the goal line. John Schultz up the far sideline over the 15-20 and out near the 25-yard line. So Danny Stiefel, perfect on the season until that pass. A big interception by John Schultz, and the Cougars get it back.
Evan, you talked about the 2 things, these offenses and defenses are going to be pretty even, and I think we've seen already both teams are going to play pretty tough defense. Both teams can move the ball. Here's a replay right there. John does an excellent job of breaking on the ball, catching its highest point, but so far the 2 big emotional plays in this game have been from special teams, and then the other big key factor in a game like this is turnovers. What team can protect the ball the best?
1st and 10 for Dakota from their 25. Trotter motions across the backfield, hand to Gay. He's got some space on the right side, spins over the 30 and lunges out to the 33. Pickup of 8 on the play. Bring up 2nd down and short, and that's one thing if you're an offensive coordinator, Brad Morris, Mike Giannone calling plays. You'll take 7, 8 yards every time on 1st down to set up these 2nd and shorts, as we see Greg coming right into your living room here on the replay.
Well, both these running backs have one common similarity, and that is they don't go down for loss very often. Greg does it more by being shifty. He doesn't give you a whole lot to tackle. And LJ, he gives you a lot to tackle. It's just hard to bring down. He's an awfully strong boy.
3 wide set here for Dakota on 2nd down and just over 1. Stallings with his first pass attempt of the game, throws outside, caught by Gay at the 44-yard line. A pickup of 10 and a 1st down.
Boy, Greg Gay's been involved in a lot tonight. He's already had 4 rushes, big reception right there, 10 yards. His plays have been for big yardage.
Throw and catch by the junior to junior combination. Come with a similar set here. Gay the single setback. Trotter in a slot, far side. Kwiatkowski to the near side. Lancaster out far to the left. Here's Gay up the middle. Gay into the secondary 50. Shifts gears 45. Dives near the 42-yard line. A 14-yard pickup and another 1st down.
Again, one of the things that the Dakota faithful are seeing tonight that they didn't get to see last Friday is Greg is hitting that line of scrimmage with such a burst of speed that doesn't take a real long, big hole. Doesn't take much to get through, and he's not making any of his moves, his spins or his cuts until he's already at the linebacker or secondary depth.
First and 10 here as the Cougars move to the Stevenson 42. Stallings will throw on first down. Deep drop, looking long, throwing for Lancaster. Marcus is out there, ball underthrown, incomplete. Sort of hung up in the wind, it looked like a little bit there, and it will bring up 2nd and 10 from the 42.
James almost just put a little bit too much touch on it. Sometimes when a receiver's that wide open, you don't want to misfire, and Marcus can run. James can just let it go. But I like that call because they've been so effective in being able to run the football, especially on first down, that Stevenson was going to have to make a change defensively, and the change generally comes by bringing the safeties up tighter to the line of scrimmage. With a throw like that on first down, you certainly keep the safeties deep. You keep them from thinking about that as an option.
John Schultz in motion across the formation from the slot. Hand it to Gay. Knifes inside the 40 to the 39, a pickup of 3. It brings up 3rd down and 7 here for DHS.
In this situation last Friday night, James did a great job of throwing timing routes. The quick outs to the sidelines and the quick slants from the wide out right at the linebackers. He just set his feet and put the ball in the air almost before the receiver came out of the break. The secondary had no chance to react to that.
Well, just inside the 40-yard line. Quick count here. Slant route, Lancaster's got it inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line. Gain of 14 and another first down.
I think James literally feels that he can stand back there and throw that ball through a brick wall from that side, or that set right there. He just sets that back foot and lets it go, and it's a double slant. And the defense can't be right. The corner's got to honor the outside of the wide out, and the linebacker's going to take the inside slant. One of them's going to break free.
That ball was right on Marcus's hands, led him perfectly, right in stride. And the Cougars convert that 3rd and 7, move the chains again. Just under 3 minutes to play first quarter. Handoff Schultz, he's got some running room, and he's turned back though at the 21. Gain of nearly 5, give him 4. 2nd and 6.
John did an excellent job, though, carrying the ball between him and David Talk last week, carrying the workload against Roseville, allowing Greg to have that extra week to get that ankle healthy, and we can already see that was a great decision, the way he's playing so far tonight. But if you notice, when they got Schultz in the ballgame at the running back, they moved Gay out to a wideout spot, and that really puts a lot of pressure on that defensive front for Stevenson. Who are you going to cover?
Gay up the middle, squirts through near first down yardage. He picked up 5, bring up 3rd down and 1. Yeah, and John Schultz last week runs for 110 yards and 4 touchdowns. So a potent rushing attack here, but as any football fan knows, it all starts up front with those big guys, and they're doing a really good job on this drive.
They have. We really saw a real maturation process with that offensive line last year. A lot of underclassmen playing on it, real commitment to the future, and it's paying big dividends through the playoff run, and then even into the late stretches of last week, and then tonight, the offensive line is playing very well.
Quentin Trotter back in at the fullback spot. He'll lead the way for Gay. Surges to the 15, and he should have the first down.
But you know what? That's a tough afternoon when you rush for 110 yards and you go back to being the backup in week 2.
That tells your coaching staff you got some depth at that running back position too, that's for sure.
That's right. One of the things that most one of the things that people probably don't get a chance to appreciate enough is that when you can build depth like that, your practices are so much more crisp, because a competition and a fight to get on the field and the challenge every day to get better is just one-upsmanship, and it's what allows a program to develop into what these two teams are putting out here tonight.
Now Greg tried to cut it back that time, stopped at the line of scrimmage. Battaglia on the stop. Give forward progress, 1-yard gain, 2nd down and 9.
These are the situations, though, where James really has to take charge. He's got to be that leader in the huddle. He did a great job in a 2-minute drill down here in the red zone last Friday night. But just take charge, settle everybody down, get them to sniff the end zone, focus on the little details, the count, the his crisp voice, try to buy an offside penalty maybe here if you can get your linemen to stay in their stance.
Got a timeout on the field, and the Cougars want to talk it over here with 24.6 seconds to play in the first quarter in a scoreless tie with the Stevenson Titans here in the MAC Red opener. Home opener for the 2005 season. Good crowd on hand. Beautiful evening. And a good first quarter thus far.
Yeah. Things you'll see in this situation I was talking about is that when you get a very mature, savvy quarterback, they get inside the red zone, and sometimes they'll go on 2 if they've been going on 1. And they'll really bark out that first audible signal, and they'll get the defense anxious and try and buy a free first down, an offsides penalty. But in order to do that and to pull those kinds of things off, you have to be in the huddle, and you got to settle everybody down. You got to get them focused on you. You got to let them know you're going to play these little tricks. And then certainly the running action, the play action, and any throw has to be away from the defensive back. And that's what Stiefel found out when they were in the red zone. He hung that ball a little bit trying to feather it in, and Schultz was able to break on the ball. Irony of the deal, though, is that 24 seconds, if Dakota's able to score, they're going to actually be able to kick the extra point, probably going with the wind at their back and not have to kick into that stiff wind.
They'll come out, set it 3 wide. Lancaster and Gay to the near side, Kwiatkowski to the far side, and Schultz, the lone running back. 2nd down and 9. Give it to Schultz up the middle, inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. That'll be a first down and goal near the 2 for the Cougars.
Coach Drosky's screaming for another run. He says, reward those big offensive linemen. Let them get into somebody and hit them. You see not a whole lot of sense of urgency. Let the clock run down and go score your touchdown the other direction with the wind at your back.
Got another look at the Schultz run there, and now you get a look at that scoreboard as time runs out on the first quarter with the Cougars knocking at the door to break this scoreless tie.
And this is where this becomes really smart coaching, because instead of being in a hurry to run the play, not only are you getting the wind at your back, it's like buying another timeout. You're right inside the red zone. You're trying to get yourself focused on a score. Points are going to be a premium tonight. It's like buying another timeout by using a quarter change right now to talk to your quarterback, let your offensive line coach talk to the linemen, get everybody on the same page, and then presumably score and use that win as a tool in your kicking game with TJ Gore kicking off, the guy that's assumed the kicking duties for Dakota this year, and put that defense back out on the field with all that confidence, and now maybe you're going to win that field position battle too.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a little glimpse into how the decision-making that goes on in a game of this magnitude is not just the next play. You got to think about 3 or 4 steps ahead and how one thing leads to the next thing, to the next thing.
Well, and certainly not to mislead our viewers, it's far from a gale out there, but there is enough of a wind that it will have an impact, especially on the kicking game. And we saw it on one of Stalin's throws earlier, throwing into the wind, where that ball will hang. So it certainly is a factor. John, I couldn't agree with you more in terms of the strategy here, as the Cougars will have 4 cracks at it, or at least 3 cracks at it from just outside the 2-yard line to try and punch this one in here and get on the board.
You know, it's the point that we're trying to make, I think, and paint for the viewers is that in a game like this, in a game of chess you're playing, and everything being so equal, you got to find an edge somewhere. There's got to be a little chink in the armor, a little edge that you're going to exploit, and that may be just one.
Goal line offense.
2 guys in motion, same time.
Yeah, that one's coming back. And Schultz going one way and Trotter going the other. And
boy, we talked all about buying the extra time out, get everybody on the same page, and you know, little miscommunication there. For those that don't understand, and not unlike Canadian football, in high school football, you can't have 2 guys moving at the same time. Even though backs are eligible to shift and reset, they can't both be moving at the same time.
Now we'll get a look at it as Schultz goes one way and Quentin's going the other, and there's the ball snap. And
it looked nice. That's why you never see it. It's illegal.
All we needed is somebody getting a head start from the 15 to the line of scrimmage. I thought I was watching arena ball.
The only good news is it happened on first down. We replay first down, so you're still going to get a few fair cracks. From 8 yards out.
Still 1st and goal. Handoff Schultz, and he is dragged down. No gain on the play. Josh LaRocque on the stop. Bring up 2nd down and goal.
One of the things that I know Coach Morris has in his repertoire, it's a nice thing to think about here is, James is such a good passer. Sometimes you can show a run formation and get that defense to think run and let him throw out of a formation they're not expecting you to throw from. More of a power set and then throw the football.
Well, let's see if the Cougars can overcome that 1st down penalty. Stallings throws, touchdown. Marcus Lancaster on the same slant pattern we saw earlier in the drive. The Cougars are on the board.
But the Dakota coaching staff has really come up with something with that double slant from a spread set, because the corner has to stay to the outside to keep outside leverage on that wide receiver, in this case Marcus again, and it's easy for him to get inside of him, and the linebacker has to be wrong, because the inside receiver runs a slant at the level 2 or the linebacker level. If he doesn't honor that, you're throwing it there, and if he does, it just opens up like a window for the quarterback. And James got the arm. He feathers it in there before the safety can break on the ball.
13 play, 75-yard drive.
And what people don't understand is that really the only way to take that slant away is for the corner to play straight man coverage and line up inside the receiver. And most often, you'll see it right here. You can see the first receiver break in your screen. The linebacker closes and it opens just like a window. The only way to stop that play is to put the corner on an inside alignment on the wideout. And almost always there's a nonverbal communication between the wide receiver and the quarterback, and when the corner cheats like that, they go to a fade route over the top.
We'll get another look at it from a different angle. And John, you commented on the under slant, so to speak. That's Greg Gay running that route, and you certainly can't leave him alone and just turn him over and hope he doesn't sneak through the zone defense there. And yes, it's a play that certainly has been very successful here for DHS on that drive. A 13-play march. As I said, it took over 75 yards, and boy, chewed up darn near 7 minutes off the clock.
Amount of time. A lot of elements had to click right there. First of all, there was only one penalty. They kept the Hankies in the refs' pockets, which is an excellent sign of disciplined football. We alluded to it earlier, and they deserve more credit than what we're giving them tonight, and that is those offensive linemen, just the surge that they're getting. And not very many negative plays that Dakota's trying to overcome. Everything, whether it's running, and James has been under no pressure so far, everything's been going positive, going down the field.
Good kick here from Gore. It's going to result in a touchback as Javen Messi can't bring it out of the end zone.
That's one of the nice weapons that we've come to enjoy around here at Dakota High School. With Justin Trumbull graduating, the curiosity was who was going to pick up the kicking duties, and were they going to be able to perform at the level we've been accustomed to seeing him perform. And TJ just pounded that one right into the end zone.
Oh, he's got a great leg. Phenomenal soccer player as well. Now Stevenson now trailing 7-0. Early second quarter. Danny Stiefel at the controls. He'll throw on 1st down. Time, throws over the middle. Knocked away by Schultz, but they're going to throw a flag for pass interference here near the near side 30-yard line. Intended for Ventilli. It was close.
It looked like his left arm was dragging on the receiver, but boy, that was a late flag coming out of there.
Oh, get another look at it. A shade late, and the grab with the offhand. Left arm there, a little bit on the hip, turn the receiver just a shade. It's a very tough call to make. It happened so fast out there, but on our slow motion replay with the great work of our camera crew.
Coach Toko's standing out there yelling in the secondary, telling John to do that play 100% of the time. It's well coached to do that, and not very often is the call going to go against you. And more often than not, it's going to be a big positive play in your favor.
Very, very small margin of error, and it's such a just such a tough call. We'll see it one more time. Boy, oh boy, you will not see that called very often. You're right, John.
And it's the right technique he's got to use, because if you're going to be brazen enough to go for that deflection and knock that down, if the guy catches the ball, you better have something else to get a hold of him with to slow him up till the rest of the comrades on defense get there to help with the tackle.
Penalty moves it out to the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Stiefel hands to Robertson. Robertson tries the left side, bounces off a tackle. Vigneault slows him down at the 38.
That's a good illustration just of how strong L.J. Robertson is. I mean, there was 3 or 4 guys that met him right at the line of scrimmage, and he didn't buckle. He just kept bouncing and churning his legs and searching for something, and he ended up with 4 yards out of the deal.
2nd down and just over 5 to go from the 40, near the 40-yard line. Clock running here, 2nd quarter. Rodney Merschman to the near side along with Ricky Ventilli. Deletka to the far side. Robertson at the tail behind Matt Muglio. Stiefel wants to go deep. He's got Deletka open. He's got it at the 20 and dragged down at the 16-yard line by Dakota's Anthony Militello. But a big gain there for the Titans deep into DHS territory.
I was just about to say, Danny went 9 for 9 last week, and then he came out tonight and connected on his first one, and then he had an INT and an incomplete pass. But boy, he got sharp again in a hurry. He laid that one right on the money.
Well thrown ball. Deletka had just enough separation. That ball dropped in right on Deletka's hands. Big play. And now the Titans in the red zone looking to answer the Cougar score. Option look here. Stiefel pitches Robertson outside 15, and he is submarine there at the 15. Rodney Hush with the stop.
Just a little bit of option football is not a bad call down there in that situation because it forces the defense to play. Everybody has to have a man, and it forces the defense to account for the quarterback.
2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard gain, and we'll take another look at it.
Right now, a linebacker there has to account for the quarterback.
And Rodney does a smart thing. He goes low. High formation. Robertson again behind Muglio. Ventilli will go in motion across the formation. Cougars shift on the line. Robertson left side. Dragging tacklers. Cougars stiffen at about the 6.
That tells you that the defensive coaching staff has picked up on a definite key, because rarely, especially in this situation of the field, are you going to take 2 deep nose tackles and flip-flop them from each other because a receiver went in motion. That means that there's definitely a strong run key to a particular side, and Dakota wants to try and match them with their studs versus the other team's studs.
8.5 minutes to go here before halftime. Stevenson facing 3rd and 1 from just outside the Dakota 7. Cougars 7, Titans nothing. Danny Stiefel will keep it. Try the right side. He's got a lot of room and walks in untouched. Touchdown, Titans. 7-yard touchdown run from quarterback Danny Stiefel, and the Sterling Heights Stevenson Titans are 1 point away, an extra point away here from tying this ball game with 8:12 to play, 2nd quarter.
Well, just like both teams have been able to use that play action run fake, you have to honor it, and you'll see it. Danny does an excellent job putting the ball right here in LJ's hands, make that linebackers commit to it. And it's just like we said earlier on the option play, the mistake the defenses make down here is they don't have a person allocated to the quarterback. When they come out of there, they're running free.
Tom Klanowski on for the extra point. Good snap, good hold. The kick splits the uprights, and we've got ourselves a 7-7 ball game with just over 8 minutes to play before the break.
You know, just like we were talking a little bit earlier, too, about how Stallings is showing a lot of maturity and savvy, especially in red zone and managing the team. You see some of that in Danny Stiefel tonight, and we were talking about flip-flopping the nose tackles, and I would suspect that the next time he sees that motion and the nose tackles to flip-flop, here you go, say that there's nobody accounted for him, and he's running free into the end zone. is you'll see him put the receiver in motion to get the defense to start to shift, and then he'll tell the offensive line, we're going on quick count, first sound. And it'll be a QB sneak or some quick hitting play, and he'll use the shifting of the defense to almost block themselves. And that's what you get when you have very savvy, mature quarterbacks playing. They're playing the game a little step ahead of everybody else on the field in their head.
80-yard drive took 5 plays and 3:18 off that second quarter clock. Klanowski will tee it up for Stevenson with Tuck, and Lancaster back deep for the Cougars. They stand at their own 4-yard line. Klanowski, high, short, end-over-end kick. Lancaster's going to have to hustle to get there, and he does at the 15. Tries to find the wedge out over the 20-25. Out to the 32-yard line. So pretty good field position here for the Cougars as they'll start this offensive series looking to counterpunch.
It's excellent field position. And the nice thing about, the way you feel the sense in this game is that, both teams are putting out some very talented offenses. In 8 minutes, whole hum, we can see 2 scores in the next 8 minutes with these two outfits, but with the ability to go down the field.
Ball just outside the 31. Lancaster near side, Kwiatkowski far side. Schultz in the slot with Greg Gay, the tailback. They give it to Schultz on the inside handout over the 35, struggles to the 40. Gain of nearly 9. I'll give him credit for 9 yards on that carry. 2nd down and 1.
Coach Morris did a good job of getting in a formation and giving the defense something that they weren't expecting to see out of it. A little misdirection to that almost fullback that's lined up so wide. He's almost like a wing back out there, and it makes it hard for the defense to decide how they want to treat him. Are you going to treat him as a receiver? Are you going to treat him as a blocker, a run threat? Because where you align your linebacker and how you set your front makes a difference, and a misdirection to him is certainly something they're not expecting.
Quentin Trotter, short motion. Greg Gay over the left side. Short pickup, but enough to move the chains, and another Cougar first down.
See, in that situation, you mentioned Quentin Trotter. He lined up in a much tighter, more power-oriented formation. The defense is definitely going to treat that individual in that position as a block threat or more of a run threat, and they're going to line up their set with a linebacker and not view that person as a receiver.
1st and 10 from the 43. 7 minutes to play, second quarter. Quick count this time, handoff Gay, straight up the middle. He spins and dives forward close to the 48. Pick up a 5. Bloom on the stop for Stevenson.
Looks like David Talk's coming in the ball game for his first action tonight. Another one of those excellent running backs. Played very well last week.
Variety of personnel packages that
you get 3 tailbacks on the field all at one time. It's proved to be an interesting formation.
Schultz at the tail, Tuck and Lancaster out wide. Schultz cuts it back over midfield, runs into 2 tacklers, and is bottled up at the 46. But it's a 6-yard gain and a first down.
Brad Morris has got to be giving a defensive coordinator at Stevenson fits, because how do you not honor Greg Gay breaking out there as a running back? Schultz has certainly demonstrated that he's got some skills in the way he's been playing tonight, running the ball nice and hard. And you see David Talk, who just rushed for a smidge under, 80 yards last week, and he's coming around on a reverse action.
Certainly a lot of weapons. But again, it's the fat pack up front, as they call themselves, that's helping move the football. Ball's loose here and recovered by the Titans. Now Greg Gay lost the handle. And it was recovered by Kyle Cutskill.
If Greg just didn't get the handoff clean, or he was bobbling it when he got into the line of scrimmage, there's a lot of traffic. Watch a quarterback tailback exchange right here. Hey, he got it clean.
Oh, arm on the football there, right at the line of scrimmage.
Just didn't squeeze it tight enough as he thought he was breaking into the opening.
And Cutskill recovers.
We talked about turnovers and how turnovers will be that little X factor hanging out there, and so far both teams are even now.
1st and 10 now from the Stevenson 47. They'll continue with the 3 wide set. Here's a ball deflected in the air, incomplete. Trying the wide receiver under screen there, tipped. That could have been disastrous for the Titans.
Talked about the defensive line earlier in the game from Stevenson doing a great job of reading their keys on that misdirection play. And here's an excellent example of Dakota's defensive end reading the key. He gets a down block or a crab block from that offensive tackle, and instead of going down with it, he sticks his hands in the air because it almost always means 3-step pass, 3-step pass.
2nd down and 10. Stiefel on the draw play to Robertson, and he is bottled up by Max Smith and company behind the line of scrimmage. Check the spot. Loss of nearly 3 on the play. That was a play last year that really burned the Cougars over and over again in the state semifinals. The draw. And you look at all the weapons, obviously, that Stevenson has too. Stiefel drops back, you got an honor pass, and Robertson really did some damage there last year. But Cougar defense was ready that time.
I think both teams are playing excellent up front. I mean, you referred to the Dakota group, the Fat Pack. They're playing extremely well. And LJ's having a heck of an afternoon so far, too, rushing the football. It's only a negative play he's had all night.
You are correct. Now just under 5 minutes to go before halftime. 1 second under 5 minutes exactly.
Kevin, what do you think? We got almost the first half played out. We jokingly said this week it could be a very high-scoring affair after looking at last week's scores, and yet we're sitting on a 7-7 tie, and it looks like both teams are just, they're using different varieties of plays, but for lack of a better term, they're slugging it out between the 20s.
Yeah, right now, I would probably give the edge to the offense in the fact that there's been a lot of, like you said, a lot of movement up and down the field, and there's been a good deal of yardage accumulated by each offensive unit. But the key turnover that you mentioned earlier with the Schultz interception and then the turnover here after the Cougars had moved the ball a good 30 yards up the field negates all that yardage, obviously, that you gained. So the defenses seem to be coming up with the big play when they need it to try and stop momentum or prevent scores near the end of long marches, or at least as part of marches that seem to be gaining momentum. This is an opportunity here for the first three and out of the ball game. We've not had a 3 down and out situation yet. Stiefel wants to go on the half roll to the left, throws deep, and he's got a man, but covered tightly there by Rob Corey. Marshman was the intended receiver. Incomplete, 4th and 13.
You're right. They forced the first 3 and out, and and we go back to how important it was that John Schultz just continued to make the play he made. Rob Corey had a whole lot of contact all the way down the field, and in my opinion, it's a good no call on the officials' part. Let the two kids play it out, but you've got to teach your secondary to be aggressive. They're on an island all the time like that, and if they feel like they can't touch anybody at all, they're going to be tremendously hamstrung.
Stiefel will handle the punting duties, and he does not get off a good kick. Cougars have got to get away from it here, and it will bound out of bounds at the DHS 41-yard line between the 41 and 42. And that's where the Cougars will take over with good field position, a 16-yard punt.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Coach Morris and Coach Giannone choose to handle this situation. I mean, you're right. We've talked a little bit about how both offices have been able to move the ball a little bit. And, last week, James showed a lot of presence in this situation where he could kind of call some of the plays and direct a little bit of the traffic, especially in the last 2 minutes, and got the Cougars into the end zone.
He'll give it to backfield mate Greg Gay, and Greg will be tripped up in the backfield. 5-yard loss. Frankie Persicino there to make the stop.
You almost feel like Coach G wants to get the first down, get this thing over the 50-yard line, let the clock get down to about the 3-minute mark, and then maybe think about a little hurry up for almost for no better reason than you want to see how Stevenson reacts to it, because it gives you something to think about at halftime as you're making your adjustments and looking at another button you can push to change the tempo of the game.
2nd and 14. Cougars spread the field, and Stallings will throw on 2nd and long. Now he wants to step up, throws over the middle, caught by Lancaster in traffic at the Stevenson 46-yard line. Well, Marcus, great kid, excellent athlete. Last year had his problems hanging on to the football. He has been stellar here in this first half, catching the ball in traffic and picking up big play time and time again, as we'll see it again here in the passing game. 27-yard gain. Excuse me, 17-yard gain.
That's a big-time throw, too, on the money, down the field.
1st and 10 now for Dakota from just outside the 45. Stallings wants to throw again. Sets, and he'll go deep. He's got Lancaster out there. Flag on the play at the 5-yard line.
Boy, the official on this side of the field doesn't like to see anybody contact. The official on the other side of the field is okay with a lot of bumping and running going on. Although this one's going to benefit Dakota, I believe. Yes. I just think you got to be able to let the defensive back make that kind of play.
Now we'll get another look at it. Oh. Well, as much as the Cougars may have had to complain about the first call against John Schultz, the Stevenson coaching staff probably has just as much to question on that call. Very, very.
They just yelled out, "We're even."
Very, very tough to swallow there for the Titans.
Yes.
1st and 10 from the Stevenson 31 when it's all sorted out after the 15-yard mark off. 3 wide set. Stallings hands to Schultz. Schultz struggles ahead to the 28. 2nd down and 7 at the Stevenson 28-yard line with just over 3 minutes to play. Bloom on the stop.
No sense of urgency here yet in the Dakota offense. John's doing a real nice job. See Doug Wallace coming around. John didn't read that block very well. Hey, John's got to break that ball back up behind Doug. Doug's in a little bit of a trap action, and I can't fault the offensive lineman for that.
Stallings, straight drop. Looks to his right, throws, intercepted at the 20. Now that pass thrown behind. Intended receiver, Gay, and Persicino makes the play. Another turnover. Stymies momentum, and the Cougars give it back.
Well, in the back of my mind, I'd been thinking Stevenson's turnover was like a turnover and a half because of where it happened on the field. This one's a turnover and a half. You're too close to having an opportunity for points in a big ball game, and James doesn't make that mistake very often. But it's a long throw. He's throwing from one hash to the other sideline.
Noses up a little bit on that ball as it came out. Looked like it squirted on him maybe a little bit. 2:38 to play. Stevenson's got it back on their own 20. Stiefel throws it outside. Again, batted down by John Stiebeck.
Stiebeck's doing an excellent job of reading his keys. He's getting that crab block, and he's been well coached by Coach Carley to stick his hands straight up in the air, and he's got his hands right in that passing lane.
2nd and 10 now from the 20.
From an offensive lineman's perspective, you do that because you want the defensive lineman to get his hands on you, to get him away from your knees. And John's doing an excellent job of just sacrificing his lower body to get his hands up in the air and get him right in the passing lane.
Stiefel, straight drop, fakes the draw, looking right, throwing over the middle. Deletka with the intended receiver. Deontay Smith and John Schultz converged at the 30. The ball falls incomplete. 3rd down and 10.
So often, Kevin, you and I talk about the game within the game. As a defensive back, you got to make split-second decisions, and there's a time to go for the ball, and then there's a time to just go for the hit and make the receiver think twice about coming back into the middle of the field to catch a ball. And both Deontay and John Schultz did an excellent job there of not trying to get the interception, but go for the big hit. And then maybe a little intimidation factor to the wide out and use that as a way to slow down that passing game.
That's probably going to take 2 big hits like that to intimidate Matt Deletka, because he is a big physical receiver. Oh, offsides. As John Stepek got an early start, upset with himself. It turns, important penalty there, turns a 3rd and 10 into a 3rd and 5.
Yeah.
Theoretically, cuts the difficulty in half.
Now, with both these quarterbacks on this field and the strength of their arm, 3rd and 15s aren't out of the realm of possibilities. But you're right, the playbook opens up on a 3rd and 5, much more options.
Third down and 5 now from the Titan 25-yard line. Ricky Venatelli in motion. They'll hand it to Robertson on the draw. He's bottled up in the backfield, and he will be dragged down by Ronnie Vigneault and company inside the 15-yard line.
Timeout. Good job, Coach Giannone. He's calling timeout. Force him to stop that clock, get that punt team on the field, force them to punt from deep in their own territory. In fact, it looks like, based on the yardage here, the punter's going to line up almost right on the goal line when he catches this snap.
Well, it's going to go as only a 1-yard loss, or excuse me, a 6-yard loss by the time they blew the whistle. But the first contact made right there, Stepek got an arm on him. And then Ronnie Vigneault knifing in from his linebacker spot.
Well, you made the comment at the top of the broadcast, and that was nobody knows Stevenson quite like Coach Bauer knows Stevenson. And he has found something, and he's looping those defensive linemen, and you'll see it often until Stevenson finds an answer to it. When they put a guy in motion, they're looping a defensive lineman, and it is clearly interfering with the blocking schemes from Stevenson. Somebody is appearing right where, right in the targeted area for the play to run just before the snap of the ball, and they're not able to account for him.
And it's not only that somebody's appearing, there's certainly a strategy there from the defensive staff of Dakota. It's who's appearing.
Oh, yeah.
And getting a particular person in a particular spot against a certain formation with motion and everything. You think these guys don't put in a lot of work studying film and analyzing all of these things before games. Another thing coming. It is a very, very complex job. John Schultz calls for the fair catch, makes it at the Dakota 46. So the Cougars again will set up near midfield with good field position and 2:10 to work with.
In this situation, it'd be nice to see Coach Giannone come right out with a very quick pass, a double slant. That's something that James has a lot of confidence in. You could be in a 2-minute quick offense here, but give him a confidence pass. Something that puts that interception right out of his mind and gets him right back into that leading the team and try to get the quick score here just before half.
Sent Tuck and Gay to the near side and Lancaster to the far side. Schultz at the tailback spot. They're going to swing it outside to Gay. It's like a long handoff. 45-40 down the sidelines, 35, and knocked out at the 32-yard line.
Kevin, it's better than a long handoff because it's a pass. It's a pass that James now has got that erased from his mind. You got excellent gain out of it. Now you're sitting inside. See where they set that ball at. You're sitting on the 32-yard line. You get about another 5 to 6 yards. You're in TJ Gore's range.
Greg picks up a lot of yardage here down the sidelines after that first stiff arm. About 5 extra yards, gain of 22.
You're about 7-8 yards away from TJ Gore's range, especially with a little mild wind at his back, and you're still with 2 minutes to go in a half.
There's Schultz up the middle, bottled up at the 32.
Schultz did a real nice job. We talked about earlier how Doug Wallace was coming around and trapping a guy, and John should have really broke that ball behind Doug. Doug had a guy they called armbarred right there in the hole, and John did a great job of bending it back behind Doug and was able to pick up some positive yardage.
Under 2 minutes to play. Ball on the 30. Lancaster engaged to the near side. Gary Schuholtz seeing his first action, split wide to the right side of the formation. Schultz the tailback. Stallings wants to throw on 2nd and 8. He's going down the middle for Schuholtz. Got him in the end zone! Touchdown, Cougars! What a catch by Gary Schuholtz!
Boy, for what first action? You come in, you catch your first varsity football pass, and it's for a 33-yard touchdown against one of the top 10 teams in the state, and your rival for the MAC Red Championship. Welcome to high school football, Gary Schuholtz.
Well, I tell you, actually, if you think back, we go back to last year, the 04 season. Gary came in, first play he was ever in on the varsity level and caught like a 40-yard pass.
Yes, you're right.
He is a big play receiver. Oh, the extra point, though, is blocked. That kick never got more than about 4 feet off the ground. Second kick the Cougars have had blocked, though, in 2 weeks. But hopefully take another look here at the touchdown here, I'm sure, shortly. And here it is on replay.
Well, they got the spotlight on James. Watch his mechanics. He just steps up into the pocket, sets his feet, and lets it rip. And those that have been watching JV football around here have seen that combination quite a few times. But you know what, we got to go back, look at the time James has and the protection that he's got. He's moving the bodies away from his legs and letting him set his feet, and he puts the ball right on the money.
Boy, what a pretty throw and an equally pretty catch by Schuholtz. As junior quarterback finds junior wide receiver in the end zone. And DHS moves to a 13-7 lead with 1:20 to play in the half.
You talked about Lindsay down the street at L'Anse Creuse North being one of the premier quarterbacks in the Macomb Area Conference. And appears to be 2 young men on the field tonight that would like to rival that billing.
Absolutely. Some quality signal callers in the Macomb Area Conference. Mason takes the kick. He'll come wide to the near side 25, tries to cut it back. It is dragged down at the 31 with 1:11 to play in the half, and that's where the Titans will take over.
This is where Coach Toko's yelling out a few extra instructions to the secondary, because Danny Stiefel's showing the ability to set his feet and put the ball down the field on the money too. And certainly with 1:11 to go in the half and just gaining that big emotional lift with the score, you don't want to negate any of that or forfeit any of that by having a breakdown in your secondary coverage.
Oh, here come the Titans. Second time they've trailed in this game. It was 7-0 Dakota. Now it's 13-7 after Stevenson had nodded the score at 7. Stiefel with a toss to Robertson. He tries the left side. Vignew giving pursuit. Militello's there. Vignew will wrap him up at the line of scrimmage. And gang tackling there from that defense against L.J. Robertson.
L.J. really made a mistake there too, because he was so close to the sidelines. He wasn't going to get any more yards. He should have just went out of bounds and stopped the clock. But it appears that the Stevenson coaching staff's content just to let this clock run right down, maybe get one more quick play and then head to the halftime.
There you see linebackers
right here,
Vignew
just
and
head out of
Jarvie
bounds and stop the clock. But
giving pursuit, and Militello right there. Good play from the linebacking core and secondary there on that wide toss.
Coach Pai is
Muglia
content to take his timeouts to half and go back to the drawing board and say, we're only down 6 boys, and let's make some adjustments.
Muglia picks up 2. We're under 15 seconds to play. Clock's running. Stevenson not interested in stopping it. And we are headed to the locker room for the halftime break, with the Cougars leading the Titans 13-7 here at Dakota High School. John, your thoughts on the first 24 minutes?
You know, probably the thing I'm most surprised at is typically this early in the season, week 2, and only coming off your 2-a-day practices and all the distractions with starting school and everything else, defenses tend to be ahead of offenses. And these two offenses have excellent timing for only being in week 2. There hasn't been a whole lot of penalties. Quarterbacks, both of them, I think, have made some excellent decisions and have stretched the field. And both of them have had talented running games. And probably more than anything, I'm surprised at that. You tend to see the defenses much further along. And it's not like either defense is playing that bad. It's just that the offenses are playing at mid-season form in week 2.
Impressive first half by both offenses. Turnovers, a couple of turnovers played a big role in that first half. A big special teams play, especially early in the game. But that was negated by a turnover later. And we have ourselves a 13-7 ball game here at the break. Varsity cheer team's taking the field. They have the Marching Cougars with their halftime show. Debut for the 2005 season. Again, your score at the break, Dakota 13, Stevenson 7.
Hello, I'm Joe Sturza.
And I'm Dan Rizik. Here's a look at what's making headlines this week in Sterling Heights.
The Sterling Heights Fire Department conducted its annual open house on Sunday, October 2nd at station number 5 on Ryan Road north of 18 Mile. Tours, shows, demonstrations, and activities for children were just a few of the events that took place from 12 until 4 p.m. The event marks the annual observance of Fire Prevention Month in Sterling Heights.
Senior citizens from all over Macomb County came to Sterling Heights Senior Activity Center last week to participate in the 8th annual Special Day for Seniors. 58 vendors and 3 major hospitals were on hand to supply seniors with a wide variety of information from healthcare to finances.
Macomb Community College, Haas Automation, and Gerotech have partnered to offer students a new program in the field of advanced manufacturing processes. Housed in the newly created Haas Technical Education Center on South Campus, the new MCC program offers students classes in CNC, CAD, CAM, and EDM. Students can take individual classes, work toward a certificate or an associate's degree, all designed to help Michigan companies.
And for more information on these and other events making news, tune to Sterling Heights Television.
Join us every day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the Sterling Heights News, where we bring you the news that hits home.
Just getting ready to start the second half here between the Titans and the Cougars. Welcome back. To get ready for the resumption of this 13-7 game. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. The Cougars with 2 scoring strikes. I'm getting a look at the first one right here.
It's going to be a double slant. Marcus Lancaster is going to come wide open right here. That window just opens up and James puts it right on the numbers.
Right between the 2 and the 1 in the chest of Marcus Lancaster for the first score. That made it 7-0. The Titans would answer with a Danny Stiefel touchdown run. And Cougars would go in front 13-7 on this James Stallings toss to Gary Schuholtz.
You know, both passes you see, James doing a great job just reading the secondary coverage and putting it right on the money for touchdowns. And, you know, if there's like a little game within the game, you saw Dakota came right out ready to get the second half started. Stevenson spent an inordinate amount of time in that locker room, presumably getting those troops refocused and making their final adjustments as we get ready to start the second half here.
We got some halftime numbers here, courtesy of the Macomb Daily's John Hetzler sitting next to me. I scanned over on his stats. For Stevenson, 32 yards rushing, 60 passing for 92 total yards. They held the ball for 9 minutes and 1 second, where Dakota outgained the Titans nearly, well, actually more than 2-1, 188 total offensive yardage, 100 pass, 88 rush, good balance. And DHS held the ball for 14:59. So the statistics sort of bear out what we've got for a score, 13-7, and we're underway second half. TJ Gore with a high pooch kick here. Fielded by Matt Deletka, and he is stopped at the 29. Good open field tackle there by number 37, Rodney Hush.
Well, we haven't seen enough of Stevenson's special teams to know if that was by design, if they had a return person back there that Dakota was a little bit nervous about, or if TJ just got underneath it and kicking up into that wind, it didn't travel. But odd way to start the second half, only kicking it to the 30-yard line.
Well, that, you know what, I've seen the Cougars do that a number of different times. They, you know, you wouldn't probably necessarily look to kick the ball to Deletka in that situation, but in that area of the field, short pooch, feeling probably that TJ can't get it to the end zone into the wind, try and kick it up high, let the coverage team run underneath it and stop for a short return, and they've got it. But here's a long pass here to Benetilli. Benetilli's wide open, and he's going to go the distance. The Titans will tie the game on the first play of the second half. A 72-yard touchdown pass.
Well, that was certainly one of the adjustments that Stevenson must have thought they could make, because they did get open a couple times down the field in the first half, but off that play action fake and get that safety peeking in the backfield just enough for the receiver to run right by him. And Danny's done a nice job of throwing the deep ball and laying it right in there.
And Coach
Giannone right there, a little steam coming out of those ears. That's not what he wanted to see. After working so hard to get that momentum going into the halftime and anxious to start the third quarter, and it certainly quieted the Dakota faithful.
Klodowski on for the extra point. And that blocked PAT in the first half gives Stevenson an opportunity here to take the lead with a successful kick. And it hits the upright and caroms through. Kick is good, and the Titans lead 14-13. We'll take another look at the Stiefel to Venatilli 72-yard touchdown strike.
Right there.
This ball even floats a little bit on Danny, but
you don't get a chance to see it because the cameras have a hard time catching it, but Schultz just does a peek a little bit into the backfield on that play action fake, and it allows number 22 to gain that about 6-7 yards of separation, and Danny's not going to miss that throw. He's laid it right in there. If anything, you almost thought he's too wide open.
Yeah, one of those where all of a sudden you see him so wide open, you grip that ball a little extra tighter, make sure you get it down there. Floated a little bit, wobbled a little bit, but Venatilli had so much space and so much advantage on the secondary. There you see it. It's not going to earn Danny Stiefel any style points for sure, but gets the job done. It's Venatilli camps under it, and he takes care of the last 40 yards into the end zone to give his team a tie ball game, and then the extra point by Tom Klonowski gives Stevenson a 14-13 lead. 17 seconds into the second half. Here's a knuckling kick that's fielded by Lancaster at the 4. He'll try the middle, and we'll get to the 21.
Be interesting to see now how the offensive line especially, but this whole offensive unit for Dakota reacts to that. If you use a boxing analogy, that was a punch to the mouth. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to come back at them? Are you going to, get a little tentative and shrivel up a little bit and take a few more shots? So what is going to be your mental makeup as a team right now when you take an emotional blow like that, and how you adjust and handle that?
Cougars opening series here of the second half from just outside their own 20. Stallings long count, he wants to throw on first down. Has time, now steps up, throws deep over the middle, Lancaster wide open, 43-yard line. Flag on the play. He's into Stevenson territory, ball knocked loose. We've got a flag on the play, and we're going to have to wait and see what the marker's all about.
That's coming from
It's coming back.
Judge.
Oh, Lancaster was wide open. Stallings did a great job of stepping up and throwing that ball on a line, on a rope to Marcus.
Oh, no, it's
not
coming
coming back.
It's pass interference.
Now the officials were calling to bring that ball back. They are bringing the ball back. And we're not sure what's going on here. Here you see Stallings
again. We're not taking the penalty.
Steps up, nice throw. Marcus wide open. You don't see a Titan anywhere in the picture. And
good job of the back judge to hold Mark in the field position. Officials
had
a bit of a brain cramp there, and they forgot that Marcus did catch the ball and advanced it, but you did see the one official do a good job of holding the position.
He's standing there, feet together at that 32-yard line to hold that spot. He sensed the confusion there, and they got it sorted out. One more time from the field level camera.
Look at James right here. He does an excellent job of keeping his eyes downfield, moving up in the pocket, and put the ball once again. You keep using that term with James, right on the money. Boy, Kevin, you're right. You said it earlier in the first half. Marcus a year ago was really struggling with making that shift from being a running back to a wideout and catching the ball, and consistently using his hands and not trying to use his body to cradle it. And he's done an excellent job tonight.
47-yard pickup. So each offense with quick strike plays on its opening volley of this second half.
Well, you take a look, and you know, we said it's like getting punched in the mouth, and what's your mental makeup going to be? And I'd say right now, Rocky Balboa. I mean, this team is just coming right back off the rope and coming right back at them in one play. They've changed the whole field position complex around. James doing a good job of getting the instructions right there from Brad Morris down through Coach Giannoni.
And he will bring his squad to the line. Schultz at a fullback spot in front of Gay. Tuck near side, Lancaster far side, Schultz in motion. Give it to Greg. Greg hurdles tacklers at the line of scrimmage inside the 25, shifts it, and barrels ahead to the 22. He'll be close to a first down. There you see the athleticism of number 15.
Yeah, I've been just thoroughly impressed with Greg Gay's running tonight. He is really attacking the line of scrimmage, so that's the offensive lineman's dream as a running back. It doesn't have to be a huge hole for him to get through because he's just attacking the line of scrimmage with his quickness right here. And now he's waiting until he's at the linebacker depth before he's really making his moves to try and turn a good play into a big play. You see him getting ready to cut back right there. He's got his hands there.
Oh, we got a disjointed play here. Flag may bail the Cougars out. This may be a false start penalty. You'll be very excited as a coach to take this one. Ball was loose. And you saw in that last replay there, Durham Buzz-Dry out in front leading the way. Key part of that mammoth offensive line that has done such an outstanding job of creating lanes for Greg Gay and John Schultz and protecting James Stallings tonight.
And they've really played well tonight. I mean, I think that last week people thought they might be more physically dominant over Roseville than maybe they showed. I mean, they certainly played well, but just expecting more pancake blocks and 10-toe blocks where guys are just on their back with both feet in the air. And they played really well. I mean, they've had a great week of improvement fundamentally and timing-wise as a unit.
Stallings, quick set, throws a slant. This one's picked. This sitting on that double slant that time. Intercepted and brought back the other way into Cougar territory to the 38-yard line.
And you hear the coaches down the hall yelling, and James made a junior mistake, and that is he made up his mind where he was throwing that ball before he read what the defense was doing. We talked about earlier that secondary from Stevenson can only change or stop that double slant by putting a corner on the inside, or you set the safety to the inside. And the safety's just sitting right there. James throws it right to him.
Interception by Mike Bloom.
And that's going to happen. I mean, when James watches that on film, he's going to realize that I got to read, still got to follow my progressions, and let Marcus clear that safety, and then it's a touchdown.
Stiefel going deep, Venatelli wide open, touchdown Titans. 39 yards, Stiefel to Venatelli, and the Titans have run 2 offensive plays. They've gone 109 yards plus, and now lead 20-13.
This whole half is just set on 3 passes, 2 by Danny Stiefel for touchdowns, and 1 by James right to the safety to set up the big turnover in the red zone.
Well, these 2 Stevenson drives have taken all but a half a minute combined. Planowski on for the PAT. No good. Wide right.
Big miss.
Well, 2 big plays in the passing game here, and the Titans have turned a 6-point deficit into a 7-point lead with only those 2 plays, and they both went to the speedy Ricky Venatelli.
Well, they've found something. Their coaches upstairs have seen something in the way the coverage is aligned or set that they're showing action by the quarterback that's freezing the safety. And like you said, number 22 is just racing through that secondary. And Danny Stiefel's doing a great job of putting that ball down the field and on the money. Both have gone for big scores. you know, when you think you have a championship caliber football team, you know, one of the things that you build it on is character and discipline. And, you know, as much as it's hard to keep your composure when things are changing so drastically for you emotionally, I still sense that, you know, Dakota is only down 7. They've had an excellent, they've played 2 excellent quarters. In the third quarter here, they're struggling a little bit, but there's all been big plays. Just regroup a little bit. You just have to settle down and just regroup a little bit.
An important possession here for Dakota, who has been stunned.
This is where you show your mental makeup a little bit, if you really are a championship caliber squad.
Good kick here over the head of Tuck. That'll be a touchback. Now, just recap before, in case you were late coming back from halftime, the Stevenson Titans got the opening kickoff, moved it to the 28-yard line with a good return, and went 72 yards on the first play, steeple to Ventilli. After the Cougars answered with a 47-yard gain, Stallings to Lancaster. A couple plays later, an interception at the Stevenson 18, return to the Cougar 39. Was followed by another one-play quick strike drive that has given the Titans a 20-13 lead. 9:32 to play. Third quarter. Cougars now on the short end looking to answer. First time they've trailed. Swing pass outside to Gay. He spins out over the 25 near the 27. 7-yard gain.
Be interesting to see how Coach Giannone handles his young quarterback in this situation. Is he going to, you know, get into that track meet football mindset, or are they going to stick with what has been working for him? And that's a nice little balanced attack between Greg Gay running, quick passes, and then taking a shot down the field every now and then when an opportunity presents itself.
Second down and 3 now from the 27. Long handoff, Gay. Stopped for a short loss. Just running into the boundary. Third down and 4. LaRock on the stop for Stevenson.
It's a tough play to run in the short side because the defense has the sideline to act as a defender. And so the down line run up the field more instead of running along with and trying to not get outflanked by the offensive linemen. So technique is kind of tough for the kind of technique the defense is using. It doesn't lend itself to a very positive play.
Stallings hands to Gay, and Gay is tripped up at the line of scrimmage. No gain. So the Cougars 3 and out.
It's really the first time all night that Greg has tried to make that move in the backfield instead of attacking the line of scrimmage and then bending the ball back or cutting the ball back when he's getting positive yardage. But like you said, you know, the way this third quarter's gone, it is stunning. And as an athlete, it's hard to keep your focus and your emotions under control, and you just feel like you've just been pounded twice in the head.
Here's Derek Knapp kicking it away. Pretty good kick. Ventilli fields at the 43. He's got the entire right side of the field to work with, but he's corralled there by Max Smith at midfield. So short field again here for the Titans. They'll set up 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line. 7.5 to go, third quarter.
Has to feel good just to get Ricky Ventilli on the ground. Last 2 times he's touched the ball, he's been running clean.
That's the first time the Cougars have touched him this half. So here come the Titans now, looking to build on a 7-point 20-13 lead right from midfield. They want to throw again. They want to go Ventilli's way again, and he's beaten Schultz again. Down to the 2.
But they are just using formation, and they are matching up Ricky Ventilli on John Schultz and just saying, I'm faster than you, and my quarterback can throw it farther than I can run. I mean, it's Sandlot football right now. Let's just go deep.
Yeah, there's just no safety help over the top either.
It's tough when you got the three wide receivers. It's tough to double cover somebody.
1st and goal from the 2. L.J. Robertson time, touchdown Titans. Well, John, you commented a little bit about the extended halftime talk that the Titans had, and whatever they were talking about has been extremely successful. You talk about running 4 plays and getting 3 scores. That's pretty efficient.
Well, they've certainly, their coaches found something. They're chomping at the bit to get down there and diagram up on the whiteboard. Somehow with their formation and the way the secondary coverage is adjusting to that 3 wide receiver set, it is certainly leaving what they perceive as an excellent matchup on their side with Vinatelli against John Schultz. Just Vinatelli's so much faster. But you got to adjust now, and one of the things that we've said, and for both quarterbacks, that both quarterbacks have had a tremendous amount of time to throw the ball tonight. Some team's going to have to come with the blitz or come with a little loop stunt or some kind of scheme that's going to break up the pass protection and disrupt the rhythm of these quarterbacks. Look at you're going to see L.J. Robertson's touchdown run right here, but I mean, if you go back and you look at those plays that Danny Stiefel's been throwing down the field, there hasn't been any pressure around him at all. He's able to set his feet and just wing it.
$161 yards on 4 plays here in this third quarter. And Stevenson has held the ball for 49 seconds of the third quarter, and they've got 20 points. Unbelievable.
That's called efficiency.
I mean, you're not going to catch me too often being speechless with this microphone in front of my face, but I have. It's been a long time since I can recall seeing an offense like this, quick strike offense, like we have seen from the Stevenson Titans here in this third quarter.
But you know what? And the capabilities are on the Dakota side to match this. I mean, they could very easily come right around and match this. James Stallings has every bit of the talent and the ability to do the things that Danny Stiefel's doing right out here in the second half. He certainly had his big pass to Marcus Lancaster. They got into the red zone. There's all kinds of opportunities. It's just
double wing set. First time we've seen this look here from the Cougars. And Stallings will throw from what looks like a running set. Swing it out to Derek Knapp, the tight end.
I mean, clearly the Dakota offense is going to be far more satisfied to not try and get it all in one play and just march right down the field, get their 7-8 yard clips, and that's fine. All they got to do is really get one more score here in the next 6 minutes and get this thing back to an even game or close to even in the fourth period, and we'll hold on to our shorts for the final stanza.
Well, I would say that it would be very critical for Dakota to get the next score in this football game. Greg Gay with the carry over the 35, shifts gears, gets out over the 40, 12-yard gain.
But I like what I've seen so far, and that is, when you think you're building a championship team, and certainly both these teams have their sights set on all kinds of championships this year, the least of one being the Red Division Championship. You're going to have nights like this. You're going to have moments in games when it's not going to go your way and plays are going to go against you. And how you build your mental makeup to handle that will say a lot about the final version of what your season's going to look like.
Gay up the middle, out over the 46.
You don't see a lot of yelling and screaming on the sideline. You don't see any finger pointing, heads down, feeling sorry for themselves, all those nonverbal cues that lead you to believe that you've gotten inside your opponent's head. You just, let's line up and play another play.
2nd down and 5, just outside the 46, and this is the old spread T look that the Cougars used predominantly last year with double wing set. And we did not see it all in the first half. It's all we've seen on this series. Stallings will throw, looking over the middle, and is sacked at the 40-yard line. 6-yard loss.
Well, the only disadvantage to that is he had a fair amount of time to throw. It's just you have one option. And when you got that many wing backs in there tight and you're motioning them, you're only going to get one option. And when the safeties are staying deep, there's no place for them to put the ball. The only thing you'd like to see James do there is not get greedy and just put it out of bounds.
Yeah, you keep Greg Gay into the block, you fake a run fake, and you swing another running back out into a 3-yard pattern. You're just looking Gary Schuholtz all the way. And if he's not there,
throw it out of bounds, don't take the sack.
Third down and just over 10 from the 40s. Straight drop this time from Stallings. Looking right now, he's going to scramble. Out over the 40, near the 47, well short of the first down. Gain is 6. But it's going to bring up fourth down, and the Cougars will likely punt.
It's not a bad time and not a place to run a little fake punt. You know, something to get you're at midfield. You only need 4 for the first down. Certainly have had some opportunities to be efficient offensively all night, and would be a nice momentum break.
Derek's going to do his best to kick it away from Ricky Venatilia, and he gets a nice spiral, but a little sharper angle than he was probably hoping for. Be marked out of bounds at approximately the 30-yard line. So 24-yard punt. Titans take over.
Everybody in the stadium right now is yelling, "Where's number 22?"
Announcement there from Jim Curry. $1,000 raised at tonight's game by the Dakota student government to help those in need in the hurricane-ravaged areas of the Gulf Coast. So, generosity of the fans at tonight's game. Here's Stiefel, rolling right, and is out of bounds. He's close to first down yardage.
Danny did a good job when he was rolling out there. He froze Josh Jarvie, the linebacker for Dakota, with the way he was carrying the ball. With his arm action, used his ball fake like a block, froze Josh just for a step, and then he was able to turn the corner. You can see it right here. He's looking downfield, doesn't see his number 1, looking for number 2 target, uses that arm action right there to freeze Josh just a step, allows him to turn that corner.
See Venue in pursuit. Stiefel out of bounds. 11-yard pickup out to the 41. First down. Deontay Smith showing blitz. Here he comes. Throw the screen back the other way to the tight end. Complete. Nifty play there to Steve Battaglia. Gain of 5.
It's a dangerous play too, because with the blitz action that's coming, Danny's almost got to throw it without looking. And if the linebacker's sitting on it and reading his keys and he's sitting on that pass, that's a touchdown.
I'll call it a 4-yard gain out to the 45 after the spot. Just over 3 minutes to play here, third quarter. Stevenson 27, Dakota 13. Clock running. I formation, 3 wide look. Counterplay to Robertson, and the Cougars have done a pretty good job of bottling up L.J. Robertson. It's Puszczak and Jarvie. Zach Puszczak and Josh Jarvie teamed up on the stop.
Pretty big third down, you'd say, right here. This is one where the defense needs to get a little bit of savvy about it, get off the field, and get that offense back on the field with some decent field position and maybe a little bit of time.
Third down and 6. Straight drop, Stiefel swings it outside, complete. Broken tackle. And Merschman is down the sidelines, and it will be spotted out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
That's just 2 broken tackles. One by the corner, and then the safety coming over the top and not able to get them down, and now you're chasing them again.
We'll take another look at it.
Just a quick hitch right here. You get a broken tackle there, and another broken tackle. There's nobody left. Formation-wise, forces the other safety to play to the field because they're playing with 3 wide receivers.
Rodney Merschman, big play, 48 yards, first and goal from the Dakota 8-yard line. I formation, 2 wide receivers near side. Toss to Robertson. He is stuffed at the 10-yard line. Loss of 3 on that play.
You're right, Kevin. That front seven has really done a good job of settling down and bottling him up and getting him on the ground. Earlier in the game, he was getting in that kind of traffic and still coming out of it 3 or 4 yards.
2nd down and 10, or 2nd down and goal from the 10-yard line. Still a goal-to-goal situation for Stiefel and the Titans as we near 1 minute to play 3rd quarter. Stiefel runs into his running back in the backfield. Pass intended for Ventilli, defended by Schultz, incomplete. A little bit of confusion there in the Titan backfield. Disrupted that play.
John Schultz did a nice job getting his hand on that ball. Okay, I stand corrected. This 3rd down will be more important than the last 3rd down.
I would concur. 1:26 to play in the 3rd quarter. 14-point deficit right now for Dakota. They cannot afford to allow it to get to 21, 20 or 21. Two wideouts. Cougars showing blitz. Stiefel, short drop. Smith with pressure. Defended by Militello in the end zone, intended for Deletka. That brings up 4th and goal from the 10, and on comes the field goal unit.
Boy, those last 2 plays were the first 2 times all night that Danny Stiefel was really under a lot of pressure. In both cases, he's almost doing a jump throw. He's not even able to set his feet, put any kind of mustard on that pass. Nice job by Greg Bauer. Change up that front 7, bringing some loop stunts and a few things just to change up that pass protection.
Al Klanowski will come on now for a 27-yard field goal. Two for 3 on PATs tonight. Good snap. Kick is low.
I think it's good.
But good. And the Titans move out to a 30-13 advantage.
Well, you know, put yourself in the shoes of the coaching staff now from Dakota, and everybody's trying to regroup here a little bit. What do? You got to find a change-up. There's something's got to be a little different. You almost wonder if, not for panic purposes, but whether they get into almost a hurry-up 2-minute offense just to get down the field and try to get something quick.
See the field goal sneak through.
Yeah, a lot of those decisions are kind of predicated on the type of return you get. If you get the ball out closer to the 30, you're a little more comfortable taking those kinds of gambles and thinking that way. But you got to do something different. The 7-minute march down 17 isn't really going to help you too much. You'd like to get a quick one, maybe just a change of gears, something for momentum, then a quick 3 and out, and then go on your march. Now you're only thinking about something quick to worry about tying the game late.
3-score game right now with that field goal. Stiefel with a good kick. Drives tuck into the end zone, and the Cougars will start on their own 20.
Well, we're about to find out, how Dakota wants to handle this.
We'll see what the Cougars can do here. Sputtered on their last series at their own 46. Now they will begin operations from their own 20.
Well, they are in their spread formation and not in that tight double wing set.
Stallings will throw on 1st down. Looks to his left. Looks deep over the middle. Throws. Shoe holds through his hands. A little overthrown. Gary had some room. Incomplete at the Stevenson 45.
Well, you like the mindset, though. They're definitely going down the field. And James is, once again, showing a lot of presence in that pocket and helping his offensive linemen out. What's a killer for the offensive lineman is when a quarterback is so stationary that the pocket moves or they shift a little bit and the quarterback's not able to adjust with his feet and reset and throw. James doing a real nice job of moving around back there, delivering the ball where it needs to be.
Second and 10 now for Dakota. Cougars trail 30-13. A 23-point onslaught here in the third quarter. Here's Gay, who's tattooed at the 24 after a 4-yard pickup.
Now this is a situation where you don't have to get into a true 2-minute where you're on the line of scrimmage, calling a place on the line of scrimmage, but you want your quarterback to get the team in and out of the huddle a little bit quicker. You need to buy a little bit of time. A little more deliberate. Of course, Coach Giannone is saying with 3rd and 8, and we don't want another 3 and out. We need to make sure we got the right play, right timing, right sequence.
Third down and 6 now from the 24. About a half a minute to play here in the third quarter. Stalin, straight drop, under pressure, throws outside. Schuholtz got it 36, over the 40, out to the 45. Good pickup there for Gary Schuholtz. 21-yard gain and a first down.
Now, first down's where you can go back down the field. This is where you turn James loose a little bit and you let him go back downfield and you use second and third downs to keep the chains moving. First downs, you're going to probe for the big play.
16 seconds to play here. Clock running, and I don't think the Cougars will run another play here before the end of this quarter. So, trailing now by 17, Dakota will look to trim the deficit here in this final 12 minutes. 30-13 at the end of 3. Second down and 10 now from the 45 after an incomplete pass intended for Gay. This ball is tipped. Again, trying to swing it out on a receiver swing pass there. Incomplete, so it brings up third down and 10 as we start this third quarter for the Cougars from their own 45.
And Coach Mike Giannone's yelling at the offensive line there. He's had a little breakdown in the interior line on that 3-step passing game. He's really getting into a nice sequence here where he's trying to use first down to probe for the big play and then use second and third to keep the chains moving. And you need something positive on second down. You don't want the guy coming right over the center and batting down a 3-step pass. Big third down here for Dakota.
Third down and 10. Stallings wants to throw, and he's going deep. Looking for Schuholtz, incomplete. Now they are certainly taking their cracks down the field, and unfortunately coming up empty.
Well, if there's any difference right now between both quarterbacks in the second half, and that is that Danny Stiefel is able to put just a little bit more accuracy on the long ball than what James is doing, throwing the ball down the field. James not missing by much.
No, yeah, he's close. He's within a step or two every time.
Some of that can be when you're throwing from behind versus when you're throwing with the lead and you're just laying it out there.
Derek Knapp's punt, low line drive, goes out of bounds wisely at the 23-yard line, and that's where the Titans will take over, leading 30-13 with 11:38 to play in the fourth quarter.
I almost feel like Dakota's going to need some sort of mistake from Stevenson right now with a defense that's going to lead to the score and then allow the offense to get on. I mean, that blitzkrieg offense that they faced from Stevenson in the third quarter, you're going to need some help in order to crawl back in this game.
Well, it was a quarter in which Stevenson outscored the Cougars 23-0 and outgained them 171-86. Here's the option toss to L.J. Robertson.
Probably,
gains 8.
Like we said a number of times during the third quarter, probably the worst thing is how they scored. It's just the total zap of your momentum and your energy, and you can feel it in the whole stadium. I mean, it went from just second quarter to euphoria, halftime, all that excitement, and then you can almost hear a pin drop.
zapped me so much there, John. I made a terrible spot. That was a gain of 10. First down to the 33. I called it as 8 originally. First and 10 now from the 33. And this is where you might see a heavy dose of L.J. Robertson here during this fourth quarter to chew some of that clock. Or Matt Muglia, the fullback, straight ahead. But it'll take another 30 seconds off that clock by the time the play clock starts. Gain 2.
You're right, though, Kevin. The play calling or the mindset on Stevenson's side of the field has to be, okay, we've done our damage. Now it's time to just move the chains and let the clock become our friend. Sometimes that can work against you a little bit. L.J. Robertson appears to be the back that likes to have a lot of work. And sometimes when you get away from him for long stretches at a time, throw the ball down the field like they were, gets out of his rhythm, and he's not quite as sharp as he was in the first half.
Second down and 8 now from the 35. Stiefel taking his time at the line of scrimmage. He'll run the option and toss to Robertson, who is hemmed in there by Deontay Smith. Ronnie Vigneault also helped out. Give a gain of 1 on the play, brings up third down and 7. From the Stevenson 36.
Well, in these situations, Stevenson's gone to a 3-receiver package with 2 running backs, and they've been able to isolate on John Schultz and get a matchup of Ricky Vinatelli on John Schultz, and it's certainly worked in the favor of Stevenson in this second half.
Third down and 7.
They're opting to go to the tight end and bring the extra blocker in instead of having the extra receiver.
Play action. Stiefel on the scramble now, looking right, throwing, and dropped by Deletka at the 40-yard line. Oh, he had it right in the breadbasket and couldn't hang on. So the Cougars make a stand here, and the Titans will be forced to punt.
Dakota coaching staff wants to know where the holding call was, and it certainly was one in the backfield. But it worked out okay anyways.
So Stiefel will retreat to kick it away. Schultz and Tuck back deep. We'll take another look at it.
And right here,
scrambles out.
See the hold right there. Grabbing the jersey and turning the shoulder pads in any definition, it's a hold.
And I cannot recall seeing a holding penalty yet during this contest. We've got a couple of pass interferences, a couple offside procedure type things, but that's been about it.
You know, amazingly for a game so early in the season, it has been remarkably well played in the sense of the penalty part of the game. Both ways, both teams.
Kick goes out of bounds at the 38-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over 1st and 10 with 9:06 to play.
You know, we talked a little bit about at the beginning of the telecast about how big this game has and how both teams have really looked at it all through preseason preparations, and knowing that no matter how this game turns out tonight, although it's certainly going to give somebody the edge in the MAC Red race, these teams in all likelihood will face each other at some other point in time later in the season. But when you have to play a game like this in the second game, the one advantage that I think you've gained as a coach is you've had the mental focus of your team. You've really been able to improve in some of those basic fundamentals. And we talked about it, you're seeing it right now in so few penalties.
Pass intercepted and then dropped. Bloom almost had another pick. Pass intended for Knapp.
James is really getting baited into just making up his mind instead of going through his progressions. You know, he's got his mind made up almost before he takes a snap where he's throwing the ball. But in especially in the area of offensive and defensive line play where it's so difficult this early in the year to get your timing down, both teams have really taken advantage of this second week and taken advantage of having a mental focus of the team because of the magnitude of this game to improve, use that week for improvement.
That looked like some miscommunication or just a lack of chemistry there between James and his tight end. Ball nearly intercepted. He'll throw again. Set the screen this time. Schultz. Outrunning his blockers, though. Breaks the tackle out over the 45, lowers the shoulder, out over the 47. Gain of nearly 8, approximately 8 yards. That was a case of John getting out there, and he really didn't have anybody out in front of him. Had to make that happen on his own.
Hey, like you said, he was kind of outrunning his blockers right away. He did a real nice job of keeping 2 hands on the ball. You'll see it right here.
He's got 75 and 77 out there, but they're behind him.
But he gets the ball tucked away nicely right here. Almost stripped out. He gets 2 hands on it. So, whoop. We're not going to lay it on the ground.
Opeth, Harbor out there. It's close enough for a measurement. And it's also close enough to bring up 3rd and 1. Less than 1. Just short of the stick. The officials reset it.
The real
Take
disadvantage.
a look, one more look at it. As John secures that ball while he makes his cut. Excuse me, that's Doug Wallace out there blocking. Gay straight ahead, 1st down into Stevenson territory, gain of 4.
Just about to say, you almost were assured that Greg Gay was going to get his hands on the ball. You see the hurry-up offense now. Dakota is starting to feel a little sense of urgency. The way things have gone in this 3rd quarter, 2nd half sequence, it's almost taking Greg Gay out of the game.
Oh, through the hands of Schuholtz, incomplete. 2nd down and 10 from the Stevenson 48.
That's a catch that the Dakota coaching staff and faithful have to count on Gary making. And he's really got to haul that in.
Now I can't imagine that it was part of the game plan to drop James back to throw as often as he's had to tonight, but trailing by 17, there's not a whole lot of recourse, except to put the ball in the air and try and score quickly. See the Titans do it. Cougars trying to...
But he's capable of doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's part of what has made both these teams have their sights set so high. They're never really feeling like they're out of a game.
Throwing and incomplete. Marcus Lancaster couldn't hold on at 32, incomplete. 3rd down and 10. Well thrown ball. Marcus just couldn't quite find the handle.
You know, what we're starting to see here a little bit in this latter stage of the 2nd half is what happens to an athlete when you're stunned emotionally. You're just not as sharp mentally as you were earlier in the game.
I tell you what, James is a very tall, lanky kid with very large feet, to say the least. But boy, he can move in that pocket and avoid pressure like a skilled veteran back there. May not win many sprints, but he's got the quick enough and nimble feet to step up in that pocket and buy himself time. That ball just too high and too hard for Derek Knapp. Fourth down and 10, and the Cougars will go for it here with 8:17 to play, trailing by 17.
Scoreboard doesn't show it, but you're right. James has really played a fantastic football game tonight. He's done a nice shot. Made a couple bad decisions in the red zone. Didn't protect the ball well enough, but all in all, he's played a good game tonight.
Incomplete near side. Intended for Lancaster. And the Cougars turn the ball over on downs. So Stevenson gets it back at its own 48, or just shy of its own 48-yard line. Titans have the ball and a 17-point lead, 8:12 to play.
Well, you said it in the last series. I'm sure we're going to see it now with 8:12 to go. It's going to be L.J. Robertson time. You know, and the defense almost has to really crowd the line of scrimmage and go for the strip, do whatever you can to create the turnover.
1st and 10. Robertson on the reverse of Vinatelli. Flag on the play.
Might get your first holding call.
Might get that first holding call. No conference necessary when the man in the white hat calls it. He knows what he's calling. Just run over there and give the signal.
Shows a tremendous amount of respect that Coach Bai has for this Dakota team and their talent level. In a game when we figure he's going to hand the ball to L.J. Robertson and just turn it over to his lineman and big back and try to ice the clock here, he's still digging deep into the playbook with a little misdirection, feeling that he's still got to keep things shaken up and a little bit loose, because 17 points is not enough of a cushion in the back of his mind with 8 minutes to go.
Spot foul results in what really in essence is an 11-yard penalty. It'll be first down and 21 from the Titan 36. Clock back underway, and we're under 8 minutes. Robertson bounces it outside. He's got some room. 40, 45, and veteran play there. Lowers the shoulder on Deontay Smith. Stays in bounds. There's no going to the sidelines there.
Talked about earlier how Danny Stiefel had frozen Josh Jarvie with the ball fake to buy a step. In that last play, L.J. Robertson showed Ronnie Vignew a shoulder, froze him, caught him flat-foot, and was able to turn the corner. Picked up good yardage.
Second down and 11 from the 46. Stiefel checks with his backfield. Play action. Looking perhaps to set up a screen. Now he'll scramble. Who's checked? Smith giving chase. Stiefel stays in bounds. Another smart play. Goes down to 45.
That's a long developing play. That's kind of like Brett Favre fake the screen, fake the handoff, and then go back and look downfield again. Mix in a scramble, and you got an offensive side salad right there. I mean,
third down and just over 12. Yeah, that's just about everything you could think of. We've seen even some wrinkles here in what you would think would be a pretty predictable, just pound the football, try and move the chains a couple times. If you have to punt, fine, as long as you take 3 or 4 minutes off the clock at a time. Seen a reverse, sort of a double play action screen attempt here, and
yeah, I guess there's 2 schools of thought on that.
Stiefel wants to throw again. He's in trouble and just chucks it away. I'm really surprised at the risks being taken here, still with 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's thank you, Coach Bai. I mean, because with all the incomplete passes that he's throwing, the clock is really not moving much. It's 5:48 to go in the fourth quarter, but
2:24 off the clock on that possession, and I just, sort of unusual to see a team up by 17 points putting their quarterback in peril and then him throwing the ball up for grabs.
Well,
in no man's land.
Some would say we've got a lot of weapons, and we're going to show you a lot of things because we want our next opponents to spend a lot of time in film study figuring out how we're going to stop every one of these possible things that we can do. and that has worked very well for some coaches over the years. I mean, it's a philosophy or a mindset. They don't feel like they're going to hide or show or save anything. They're going to make you prepare for everything, and that could be part of what Coach Bai's strategy here is a little bit, is we're not going to shackle the offense, force our opponents down the road to figure out how they're going to stop all the different weapons they have. I, for one, would have been handing it off to L.J. Robertson for a couple different carries, and
well, and you've got,
get out of here.
and you've got seniors like Robertson and Stiefel back there. It shows, that as a coach, you've got a lot of faith in those players to make the right decisions. But they know the game well enough to do the right things and not put the team's chances for victory in any kind of danger.
Correct. James in a true hurry up right here, barking out the signals, not using a huddle.
Lofting it up for Lancaster, and it was nearly intercepted. Boy, that pass, one of those that could have gone the distance, could have been intercepted and ended up incomplete.
I think the thing that James is going to take away from tonight's game more than anything is when you're playing a team as talented as Stevenson, and there's going to be a fair share of them on the roster, even's leaving, and you got to put the ball in the air. Not wait until they're wide open, because the safeties are going to have too much time to recover on a deep ball. Now, he's not missing by much, but I think he's got to put the ball in the air just a little bit quicker and let the receiver have to catch up to his pass versus him figuring that receiver can never outrun my arm.
3rd and 10 from the 27. Straight drop, screen pass out underneath to Gay. He's going to use the whole field. 45 midfield, 23-yard gain, and a first down.
Boy, the other thing that their coaching staff's going to take away from this game is the emergence of Greg Gay as an offensive weapon, both as a receiver and a running back. He's played a fine football game tonight.
Yes, he has. You're right, John. Sort of taken out of the game a little bit in terms of the running game because of this large deficit. Incomplete.
Well, that's a good decision.
Not a whole lot open there, and like
don't try to force it in.
Wide throwaway.
Yeah, it's a sign. You know, when you're looking for signs, there's a sign of maturity, because James has a tremendous amount of faith in that arm.
An arm which is going to need some ice after this ball game.
There's times he'd have tried to force that pass in there, and the risk reward wouldn't have been worth it. You know, just throw it away and play another down. He's going to enjoy 4 days away from school. No writer's cramp or anything like that.
Swing pass to Gay. 45, can't get out of bounds though. Clock will continue to run. Ball spotted just shy of the 47.
You hate to use the term moral victory, but you really feel like Dakota needs to taste a little bit of something positive here, a touchdown or something at the end of this game, just to give them a little moxie.
Over the middle, complete to Derek Knapp. Down to the 27-yard line, 15-yard pickup.
Down 17 with 4:21 to go. You hate to say that the balance, you know, the game is probably in hand for the Titans, but you really want to just get a little something positive here at the end.
1st and 10 from the 26. Stalin, straight drop, lots of time here. Looks, throws it away, avoids the sack.
Yeah,
incomplete.
Good decision by James. Milked that for long as he could. Threw it away before he took a sack.
There could be a lot of deceiving numbers to take away from this game. You're going to see the Cougars with a considerable amount of offense and, relatively few points, I guess, in comparison to the yardage that they'll end up piling up. Some people are going to say, oh, what about that offense? Only put up 13 points. So this is not the offense that you're going to expect to see. Stevenson defense knows that it's throw on every down here, and they really, without the running game to complement what is a very stout passing game here, and boil a team down to a one-dimensional team, and they're considerably easier to defend. Another screen pass, this time to Schultz. He slips.
I think the other answer to that is the one big number that will be hanging out there in the balance, and that's 3 turnovers and 2 of them in the red zone. That's that's the points right there, the difference.
Little pass batted down there at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Bring up 4th and 7 now. From just outside the 28.
Don't worry about the score. Get the first down, get the score on first down.
Pardon me, from just outside the 23. Take another look at it.
Both teams' defensive ends are reading their keys very well. Getting the pass set and get the hands up.
Good athletic play there by Ryan Schoen. Fourth down and 7 here for Dakota from the 23-yard line. Stallings, quick set, looks to his left, throws, incomplete. Over the head of Lancaster. Turnover on downs, Titans get it back, and with 3:39 to play fourth quarter.
Dakota's going to have to regroup a little bit. They play Utica Ford next week, and Coach Giannone, what do you say to the troops at the end of tonight's telecast?
Well, it's a curious game. It's a hard game to figure and put a finger on, because you play such a great first half, and to be just really offensively and somewhat defensively, but certainly offensively taken out of what you planned to do in just such a shocking fashion. It's one that I'm sure Coach Giannone will take plenty of time to think about before he addresses the team. As I'm struggling to think about what I would say to a team who had to endure really an onslaught like that in the third quarter, that 23-point barrage. And it's not that those points came, it's how they came that really was tough to take. You feel for anybody who's got to go through that.
I think you're right, and you probably tell them go home, get some rest. We'll do film study tomorrow and address them more tomorrow. But it could be the teachable moment too for the season, because again, you go back to the fact that you set your sights high, and Stevenson's going to have their fair share of tough games coming down the stretch. Both teams are going to have Eisenhower looming out there on the horizon that they're going to have to play.
Chippewa Valley as well.
And the MAC Red qualifying all the teams last year in the division for the state playoffs. There really isn't an off week. I mean, every given week you're going to play somebody that's a formidable foe, and you have to talk to your team about how you rebound mentally.
Here's Robertson.
Probably, if more than anything, you use the film to show that when you are emotionally zapped like they were, what it can do to you with your fundamentals. The plays that were, and I'm going back to some of those drop passes in the third quarter when there was still an opportunity maybe to turn things around. Your concentration isn't what you want it to be when you've taken that kind of barrage.
Second down and nearly 2 from the 48. Clock running under 2 minutes. Robertson over midfield. First down, 4-yard pickup. Well, it certainly is, it certainly is not a season-ending, all hope is lost type defeat here by any means, but in certain, in some ways, for some of the younger players, all you can do as coaches hope that they learn from this. They will go back, assess the positives and negatives of this football game, and certainly, I mean, if you look at highlights from this game, Greg Gay, outstanding. The offensive line has played outstanding. And James, very solid effort. Just pressed into a situation where when you have to throw on every down, it's tough when you have to become a one-dimensional team. Defensively, great job against L.J. Robertson, and for the most part, with the exception of a series of shocking big plays in the third quarter, this is a very even football game. But you can't discount the fact that Titan coaches found a matchup they wanted to try to exploit. They did, and continued to go to it, and it got them the 23 points that they needed to win this football game.
You're right, Kevin. That's probably the best focus or spin to take away from the game, is that the margin of error in this game was very minute. I mean, these teams are much more evenly matched than even the score would indicate.
Flag on the play. I think Militello may have jumped off sides into the neutral zone.
And you focus in on that you want to have a shot at playing this team again later in the season. You want to be in position for maybe that opportunity to happen, and you're going to do that by just fixing that little margin of error. And,
it is razor thin at the highest levels of any sport.
And let's not sell Stevenson short at all. I mean, at
No,
that same margin
absolutely
of
not.
error, Danny Stiefel made some tremendous throws. And Ricky Vinatelli, he made the catches and got himself open and did some things to blow this game wide open.
Buglia on the carry, the fullback straight ahead, gains 4. Second down and 1. Inside the 45 at the 44. Jarvie on the stop there for the Cougars. Down to 1 minute, 20 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter. With Stevenson leading 30-13, as you see there on your screen. And Tilly in motion. Hand it to Robertson. And Robertson's bottled up. He loses 4. Back to the 48-yard line. Timeout on the field. Be third down and 6 when we come back to action with 1:02 to play in the contest. So Cougars led this game 13-7 at halftime and had outgained the Titans 188-92, over 2-1 in the first half. In the third quarter, however, it was all Titans as Stevenson outgained the Cougars 171-86. Went on a 23-0 scoring rampage and got scoring drives of 1 play for 72 yards, 17 seconds, 1 play for 39 yards, 12 seconds, and 2 plays for 50 yards, 20 seconds. Supposed to blitz on defense. That is an offensive blitz. And there you have your 30-13 margin. 49 seconds, 23 points. A 13-7 deficit becomes a 30-13 advantage, and the Titans are on their way to this victory to move to 2-0 and 1-0 in the MAC Red. Robertson executes the fake. Stiefel executes the quarterback sweep. Gains 4. And the Cougars use their last timeout. I would expect that probably see Titans line up and try and go for this, even if they don't make it. Turn the ball over on downs rather than risk a
Muff snap,
long snap, punt catch, kick, etc.
I was more curious on the third down play to see their quarterback running in open space like that. If you got an athletic quarterback and he's a senior and you're only going to have him for, they hope to be 14 games or somewhere in there in that neighborhood, use him every one you got, every play you can. Let him do what he does best, and he certainly throws the ball well. But he's going to be a nightmare for defensive coordinators to deal with, because it isn't just his arm that can hurt you. He runs very, very well. And they do just enough design plays to give him a chance to run. That little bit of option we saw earlier tonight, certainly some of that boot action that we saw earlier in the game where he's getting out on the edge and able to throw.
Oops. Early start there.
And both these quarterbacks, and you've talked about it with James and how well he's moved in the pocket, it makes it easier for those offensive linemen to pass protect when they've got a guy back there that can adjust.
Another look at the penalty here. False start, early start there for Stevenson's number 50, who we do not have on the roster.
Here we go, 4th and 8.
4th down and 8. Holy cow, what do we got here? We got a reverse to Vinatelli. And he will gain 3. And that'll be a turnover on downs. Cougars get it back, 41 seconds to play. So Cougars get it back, 41 seconds left on their own 47-yard line. First unit offense back on the field. James will get a couple more chances to wing it deep. Solid straight drop. Good protection, steps up, does just that. Throws it deep down the field for Tuck, intercepted at the 14.
I don't know if anybody has the ability at home when they watch this game on tape to take a look at the distance between where he threw that ball from and where it was picked off at. And it's just
that's 60 yards plus in the air.
Yeah, and and what he needs to take away from this and learn is that there's no question
from the Cougar 40
that he's got arm strength, but he's got to put that ball in the air before that safety can come over there.
To the Stevenson 13 or thereabouts.
And it's not that they can't throw it to 60 yards down the field. It's when he decides to let the ball go to that point at 60 yards downfield. And they'll see that from film, and they'll drill him hard in practice. And for some foe down the road, unfortunately, they will pay for it, because when he gets to learn to put that ball right on the money, you're going to start to see some blitzkrieg quarters potentially out of this Dakota offense.
Stevenson will take a knee. And the teams will shake hands to conclude this game. A 30-13 Stevenson victory here at Dakota. Mac Red opener. Titans use a big third quarter to disappoint a large crowd here on hand at Dakota High School. And Titans move now to 2-0, 1-0 in the Mac Red. Dakota falls to 1-1 overall, 0-1 in the conference. John, your final thoughts before we sign off here. Tonight's ball game.
It's a big game, and you want your team to be disappointed. You're going to tell them be disappointed, go home and let it hurt, and tomorrow we come back, we go back on the drawing board, regroup. And probably the thing you want to focus in on is how much improvement you made all this week. You want to make that same amount of improvement next week as you start your march back on to what you hope to be a championship caliber season. So we'll find out next week. They take on Utica Ford.
Absolutely. 30-13, your final here from Dakota High School. We want to thank you for joining us here on Chippewa Valley Cable. For John Brenningstool, here in the booth, Jim Calderon and everyone in the truck and on the sidelines giving you those great shots all night for tonight's ball game. This is Kevin Koskis saying so long. Once again, your finals, Stevenson 30 and Dakota 13.